Hi, it's me, Daphne. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am doing another collab with Beccie and some other lovely ladies. This is a follow-up collab to our Books That Made Us Cry video series, which I can link up in the cards for you. This version of the collab is Books That Made Us Laugh. Previously, Books That Made Us Cry, it was like April showers bring May flowers. So our May flowers are books that made us laugh. I'm gonna link all the collaborators down in the description, but I'll just name them for you. So obviously it's Beccie, since she invited me to do this video with her. And then there is April from Happily Ever April, Jackie from First Lady Reads, Kaylani from Kaylani Simply Me, Michelle from Michelle's Library, Millie from Into the Nook, and Neva from Reading Whenever. All right, let's get into my recommendations. I have a handful of books that I feel like wholeheartedly made me laugh, and then I have some other ones that I feel like had moments that made me giggle. And the first one I want to talk to you about is one of my all-time favorite books. I find it absolutely hilarious and charming and heartfelt and emotional, and that is Frederick Bachman's Anxious People. This is a beautiful book, so funny, so charming. The writing style in it is absolutely amazing. The narrator of the story is his own character in like a third-person book. This is a Swedish translated book that is about a bank robbery that goes wrong and it turns into a hostage situation. That sounds like a thriller, and in a sense it kind of is, but like not really at all. Like, this book, first and foremost, is funny. There are like a bunch of characters at this apartment viewing, so they're all like checking out this apartment when they become hostages, and it's about the bank robber as a person and about the individuals that are in this apartment and their lives and how their stories tend to intertwine, and it's just so beautifully done. And the narrator, aka the author of this book, makes you as the reader feel as stupid as he's trying to make these characters look at times. And it's just hilarious. It's just so good. I mean, I might be overhyping it a little bit, but like, if you haven't read this, I would highly, highly recommend giving it a shot. It's a really fun time. The next book I want to talk about is Born a Crime. This is by Trevor Noah. It is a nonfiction book. Trevor Noah is a comedian. He is from South Africa. He is half black, half white, but he grew up pretty much mainly only knowing his mother in South Africa during apartheid. So apartheid is pretty much like segregation in the modern day, and he's telling his story about his life. But because he's a comedian, the way he tells the story, you can't help but laugh at the pain sometimes, you know? And I just thought that book was so beautiful. I had a physical copy. I think my mom had it and then she gave it to me and then I lent it to a friend, but I don't think I'm ever gonna see that book again. So I might have to buy another copy because it's definitely one I wanna have in my physical collection. It's a 5 out of 5 stars easily. And yeah, you learn so much about the culture going on in South Africa and how they labeled people and how nonsensical it is and how stupid it is, and how because he was half, like, he really couldn't be seen in public with his mother growing up, like she would walk behind him and things like that, if I recall correctly. And yeah, it was just very informative, but told in such an approachable way that, like I said, made you laugh through the pain. So another book, obviously, I would highly, highly recommend. I recommend all these books. But these first two in particular were extra amazing. All right, now we're starting to wean our way into like giggling territory. This next book, this next book had me laughing at page 1. Not like the first two, but like still in a fun rom-com-y way. So this book is The Hating Game. I just remember cracking that book open and I just couldn't contain my giggles. I had to express that out loud, you know what I mean? So this story is a enemies to lovers, workplace romance. Our two main characters are like the executive assistants of these two CEOs that have just merged companies together. I think the companies are like writing companies or something. I don't know, it doesn't matter. So because of that dynamic, they have a little bit of corporate tension, I guess, between the two executives, kind of like trying to one up each other, and then our main characters, their executive assistants, are gonna pick sides. But like the way they fight with each other is just so silly and childish. He's keeping score of like the faces she makes and like what they mean, and he's got like a secret code. And I don't remember the details. It's a book I want to read again because it's just like such a silly, fun time. It's one of my favorite I guess it is actually, because I don't really read that many rom-coms. It is a top tier rom-com in my opinion because it actually delivers on the comedy. Sometimes like rom-coms are a little like cringy. Like I love Emily Henry, but some of the moments that she tries to make comedic I just find really unnecessary and cringy, like yikes. But with The Hating Game, at least that first half when they were fighting each other was just so funny and I had a great time. The next one I want to talk about is Sign Here. So if you watched my other video, The Books That Made Me Cry, I talked about this as well, but it's funny too. Like it's funny first, and I think a lot of people went into this thinking it was just gonna be funny and not serious. This is a story about a demon in hell whose job it is to sign people's souls away, and the way hell works is just a little ridiculous. So like none of their pens will work until they've tried at least like 7. The coffee maker is always broken. The weather is always like humid and uncomfortable. There's always like an ice cream truck circling his apartment building, like nonsensical, silly things to make their lives hell. And yeah, it's just a fun, silly time, and I had to include it again in this version of the collab. The next book I want to talk about is Heartless. So this is a small town cowboy nanny age gap kind of romance, but there's this one scene that is just so silly and ridiculous it made me giggle. And if you know, you know, but I guess I'll tell you if you don't know. So we have our main character Willa. She is nannying for, I think his name is Cade. Cade has a young son. I think his son is probably around 5 or 6 if I was gonna guess. And the son gets invited to a birthday party, and the birthday boy is a little brat. It happens to be a pool party, so Willa sees her little guy getting bullied and takes matters into her own hands and pushes the birthday boy into the pool. And like, who does that? Like a grown woman just pushing a little kid into the pool, and then they left. That's just so silly. That's just like a funny moment. So I had to add that on here too. Sorry if you didn't know about it, but you'll still enjoy that scene anyway. All right, so the next book is a shorter novella type book, and it's called That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. Just the premise of this book is so funny. This woman, she lives in this fantasy world, and she kind of stumbles across this demon who is like attacking the village. She runs like a spices farm with her family. Her name's Cinnamon, I'm pretty sure, because they're like all named after some of the spices that are on the farm. And she is being attacked by this demon, and she whacks him with this like a cinnamon branch, I guess. I don't really know how cinnamon works, but I guess it's trees. And for whatever reason, the cinnamon wakes him up from this spell he's been under. So now he's like, okay, I need your help to break this curse that's going on and controlling all these demons across and like other species across the country. I don't know the scope of this world, but across the land. And she's like, I really don't want to do that. She's like, I'm very content just like drinking my wine and eating my cheese with my bestie, staying at home, having an easy life. I don't want to go on an adventure. But he's like, nah, you gotta come with me. So that was a fun, cute, light, low stakes. Like, I mean, the stakes are high, but like nobody's gonna die or anything like that. It's just an easy, fun time. And if you want a couple giggles, I'm sure you'll get some. And then the next book I'm gonna talk about is kind of highly specific to me, because when I read this book, it was in a time in my life where I realized I wasn't as young as I used to be, and that is Well Met. So this is another romance that takes place on a Ren fair. Our main character, our female main character, is helping her sister out because she's been injured in like a car accident or something, like her leg is in a cast and she needs help taking care of her teenage daughter. So her sister's there to help her, and then the teenage daughter wants to participate in the Ren Fair that is run by her high school like social studies teacher. And part of allowing the teenagers to be involved is that they need a parent to participate with them. So that's how our heroine gets roped into this Ren Fair, kind of against her will. The teacher is a grump character, and the part that made me laugh was like thinking to myself, wow, I'm at the age where I can relate to a high school teacher more than I can relate to a high schooler. So just that aspect just had me giggling. Also, it's just a cute, fun rom-com time again. You get to experience the Ren Fair, which was really fun, and I just found this book really charming. This is the first book in a series. I really loved this one. The second one I didn't like, and the third one was just like, okay. There is a fourth one. I haven't read it yet, but maybe I'll just get it from the library or KU or something. So yeah, this is just another fun book for sure. All right, that's it for my recommendations for the books that made me laugh. Hopefully they make you laugh or giggle or just give you like a happy, smiley, fun time. Also, don't forget to check out the other collaborators I listed down in my description if you want even more funny book recommendations. That's it from me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. Obviously, I would greatly appreciate it and it would help out my channel a bunch. And I will catch you in another video. Bye!